It's the beginning of Florence, Italy, now in the Piazza della Signoria. And this big building there is the Palazzo Vecchio Old Palace. There's the City Hall, which still operates as the City Hall. Built in 1530. The statue is a copy of David, the sculpture by Michelangelo, the original, in the museum not far away. That was done in 1530. This is the inside of the Palazzo Vecchio, which actually I see now was built in 1322. This is a private residence for a couple hundred years of the family. This is the ceiling of one of the rooms inside of a palazzo. There's a different room with a quite different ceiling. This is now called the Room of the Lilies in the Palazzo Vecchio. The ceiling. The frescoes were done in 1485. This is yet another room. These frescoes were done in the 1500s. Pretty magnificent ceiling.
And that's the price audience that is smaller and the view color is showing right now. The same because it is visual as well. So it's all paid.
It's a window.
These frames are of course like movies, like Giuliano and Benedetto.
Here's another room. Another ceiling. Yet another. And another. This is his recess center. It's kind of a greenish room with vaulted ceilings.
This furniture isn't the original the century of the view. This is very enough.
This is a very small room. Either frescoes or paintings after the crucifixion. Now this is the big room. Big hall. Huge ceiling.
Hurry up, I see naked statues.
Dory's getting excited.
I see naked statues down there. Lots of them.
The last big room was actually used for the city hall gatherings, plus balls. This is a room next door. Another room, another ceiling. Woman and serpent. Another room, another ceiling.
When the statue was finally completed, the
Another room, another ceiling. Star over there. The chest. Another room, another ceiling. This is now a staircase going down the floors below. There goes a cripple down the bottom, Dory. Another staircase. And this takes us into another big hall. This is quite a palace. This is now inside the Great Hall. Actually, Dorothy going out to check out the naked, so she says this is uses the City Hall. I haven't seen that. Very unusual naked here. One guy's standing up, the other guy's upside down. And grabbing onto something important. I don't quite understand this. Dorothy liked it though. This is Michelangelo's Victory. It was intended for Pope Julius II, but instead presented to Cosimo I in 1565 following the Duke of Cosimo military triumph over Siena. Michelangelo did this. We're now inside the Church of Santa Croce. And this is the tomb of Galileo, famous astronomer, a scientist and mathematician. He was denied a Christian burial until 1737, over 100 years after he died. He had trouble with the Catholic Church. He was opposing their views, according to the Catholics. And in the same church now, this is the tomb of Michelangelo. And this is now the outside of the church called Church of Santa Croce. This is now the Church of Santa Maria del Fiore, commonly known as the Duomo, the Cathedral of Florence. Looking now into the dome of the architect Bucinelli in the 1300s. This is now the outside of the Duomo. In the rain. Wonderful. There's a dome in the background. And the Campanile, they call it. This is now a statue inside the Museum of the Duomo, done by Michelangelo, called El Piatto. Widely believed to have been a self-portrait of Michelangelo himself. And it's supposed to be Mary Magdalene. They're done by a student of his. Here we have the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Una cosa. Pisa non l'avevano vista, non era mai stato.
About to tip right over on Dorsey. It's begun to be built in the year 1173. Wasn't done until 1350. Started tipping after they got the third tier. In 2001, it was reopened as they shored up somewhat. It was tipping more than this actually. And next to it here stands the Duomo of the cathedral. The animal here is supposed to be Romulus, the god that founded Rome. Okay, going up. There's Dory climbing up the stairs, 300 steps to the top. It's a very unusual obituary. Dale Sievert dies in
All lies.
the Leaning Tower of Pisa
Dips.
because he took his wife along with him and it collapsed.
I'll just go off here and there.
Now at the top, here comes the mountain goat.
This must be about 200 steps.
And it's not finished.
Almost. Isn't this fun? I'm hot.
Here at the top.
Nice up here. Nice and cool.
And
Nice
at the very
and cool.
top here.
People are starting to go down. I don't know where there's other people up there. Fly off the edge.
This is Duomo there. cathedral. Mountains in the background, about 6,000 feet. Fresh snow. We're finally at the bottom. Dorothy's not coming out. Oops, there she is.
Here I am.
There's now the tower in the Duomo, or the cathedral. Started in the 1000s, about 1,000 years ago. And then this is the baptistry. This is now inside the Duomo, the cathedral. There's a stairway up there, perhaps stairway to heaven. Now up in the front of the church. There's the stairway to heaven, as Dorothy thinks it is. The door right up there takes you right to heaven. A little bit. These are the side naves of the church, two of them either, one on either side. And this one's the other side.
Un po' corse. Dai, andiamo.
This is now the front of the cathedral, the other side. This is the medieval city of Siena in Tuscany. Built in the 1300s. It was captured by the Florentines, Florence. And this remained the same ever since. This tower here was built 330 feet tall, built in 1342. the city hall. The city has a lot of narrow alleyways, narrow streets.
Museum. This is a torture museum.
So the city is filled with alleys this way. They're narrow.
There's hanging bodies. Hanging.
So there's a torture museum up there.
One little bush up there.
This is now the Duomo, the cathedral, built from 1136 to 1382. It's 250 years building it. This is now inside the Duomo. Very unusual. Black and gray stones. And the floor is out of marble, inlaid marble. It's again Remus. God Remus. Here's the pulpit. 3 years of carvings from 1265 to 1268. The scenes of the life of Christ. Front of the church. This inlaid marble and floor represents the slaughter of the innocents when King Herod killed all the infants. This is the library now, right off the main church. It's dedicated to the life of Pope Pius II, who was born in this city. This is back in Florence still. This is the Arno River, major river of Italy. Ponte Vecchio, the Vecchio Bridge, medieval bridge. Years old. People used to live on the bridge. There's not a lot of people going over the bridge. 1,000 years old bridges. This is Palazzo Pitti, or the Pitti Palace. It was built by the rich Medici family, a banking family, Florence. Started in 1457. This is the interior courtyard of the palace. This place was started by the Pitti family, actually, and then 100 years later, they were bankrupt building the place. It was bought by Medici family, the rich banking family. Magnificent rooms inside, but you're not allowed to film them. And that's a memory of the rich Medici family right there. So this is now the back side of the palace. It's the very center. Off in the distance here, it's what I saw the other day, the Duomo. Duomo. And the Capelli, or the bell tower. That's the center of Florence off there. Now here's the picture of the palace from Boboli Gardens. Big garden, very inferior to the Cedar Garden, but still a nice garden. And that's where Queen Dorothy would have lived. Speaking of Queen Dorothy, there she is. Are they?
Checking out the naked.
Checking out the naked, she says. So now they have snack time here. Shows you some of the food we eat here in the shop.
Buongiorno. Hello. There you go. Pizza, bruschetta, rustico, pasqualina.
Dorothy making a purchase. Now on the bridge. The bridge has a lot of shops and all jewelry shops. And the jewelry shop over there. That's the other side of the bridge. There's houses up there. Now we passed over the bridge and made it successfully without Dorothy buying anything. This is Bargello, the old prison from the 1500s. Now an art museum. Here again is the Duomo of Florence, the cathedral, which I took the other day, but it was in the rain. Much better now with the sun on it.
Much farther away is Dome than Wamble. It's a double shell dome, wooden supports inside. Quite unique at the time. Construction.
This is a bank. We're trying to get to the bank.
Sì, ma non è mica
They have a security system.
soluzione.
It didn't work. Can't get in.
It's like a tube you go into
You're
and
going to exchange money.
Io rotto. Come
Oh, that's okay.
aspetta,
Wait, wait,
aspetta.
we're now at the old medieval town of San Gimignano or something like that. Their old quaint Italian there. Wait a minute. It's not an Italian. They have 14 old towers like this. Old palace towers. Rich houses. Here comes a local Italian. Well, this is now the view from the top of the tallest tower in the town. About 400 feet up, overlooking the Tuscany countryside. It's a vineyard there. Chianti wine is produced in this area. And this is the other side of town from the other side of the tower. That's the entrance where you come in. And these are the stairs that go up to the top of the tower and down near the bottom of it. And this is going farther down to the very bottom. It's 12 o'clock now, so the bells are tolling. torts in the sweet shop here. And this is the meat shop. Big, huge sausage. Nice little church. Tell me what it said.
It says, this is Dale now in front of the wine shop, having his little glass of wine. First he bought
Chianti
the
wine.
Chianti wine, grown in this region, grown here, the grapes. And Dale went in there and talked the guy into opening the bottle for him. And
4
gave
euros,
him
only about $5.50 per bottle.
$5.50 US per bottle. And so now he's happy as a lark. Maybe he's happy as a lark. Anyway, he's having his wine.
Shut it off.
How do you shut it off?
Push the red button. You should go ahead and drink a Chianti wine. Authentic panini.
Nice panini.
Non ti sa pigliare un attimo nessuno. Però un attimo, voglio sempre quando si fa il
That's now the main tower I saw before. I said it was 300 feet, but I guess it's 175. And this is the town hall. There's a local wino in a town hall. With frescoes. This is again on the town hall. Now heading back out into town. See where we came in. And that's the entranceway in. Here now is the outside of the town. Corner tower. This city wall. Now back in Florence, this is home of the Medici family from 1444 to 1540s, before they went to the Palazzo Didi. Inside the courtyard here. statue here of, I think, Orpheus. This room here is known as the Galleria. There's a meeting going on here.
Significa il cultore decolitato di Dio, e lo sappiamo. E vedete queste polemiche strampalate, qualche volta francamente repellenti, che si sono fatte nei confronti dell'Islam negli ultimi anni, hanno portato a un risultato obiettivo, del quale io come stavo
Okay, now we're on the train coming up to Venice. This is now the Venetian Lagoon. We're on a causeway, and off in the distance there is the island of Venice. Now we have arrived in Venice.
Time for a snack.
Always having a snack ready. Seems we're in Venice. There's the bridge over the Grand Canal. The hotel is off to the right, about 3 blocks. This is now Venice. We're now on the Grand Canal. There's one that's an S curve, reverse S curve.
That's 711, which is next door to
All Rich Holmes many, many years ago.
that one is the natural history of that. That's basically it was a big choice. Rubber Sit in a bit. I never did see the building. Was there
St. Mark's. This palace here belonged to the Archduke of Austria. Died here in 1836. The tower distance there is actually St. Mark's long before the church. It's the Campanile of the Bell Tower. Getting off there at St. Mark's. This is now the end.
This is the library of Saint-Sauvignon. Get off the canal. And off in the distance, St. Mark's Cathedral. There's the Campanile. Bell Tower, built in 1902, took place to one which collapsed in 1901.
Get at it. Now they're eating.
There's St. Mark's.
Whoa.
Got hit by a bird. Lots of birds flying around here.
Danger, danger. Killed. Look at that girl sitting on her. See that? She was having a video or something. Attacking her.
Actually, this building before, which I said was a library, turns out to be a Doge's palace. The Doge was sort of like the governor of Venice. And it's St. Mark's in the background. So it connects right to St. Mark's. We're now in a courtyard of the Doge's palace. Outside of Doge's Palace again, which is over there, and in the front of St. Mark's. And the Basilica Cathedral. And then the multitudes of people in the square. And the square floods every day at high tide. We're on the Rialto Bridge here.
Whoa, birdie. See the big bouquet of flowers. Must be wedding.
Well, it's Sunday morning now. The church bells are ringing. Another church of many. Yet another church. Bell is tolling. Across the courtyard here is a school day. Train people in the arts. Sort of counterpart to today of ADC and other churches. And connected to that was another church, Church of San Rocco, Church of St. Rose.
You attack.
We're now up on the third floor of a mansion, Casa Rizecchio. The most elegant house in Venice. Bankrupted the first family who tried to build it. Got to the first floor, went bankrupt.
Look who's down there by the bushes.
Dorothy
You see that down in the
Dorothy
bushes?
Capra saw a cat. There's a cat in the garden.
In the garden. See that?
Now in San Piccolo, the oldest church of Venice, begun in the 1200s. Rebuilt several times, so I don't know how old it is here. The interior. Now the front of the altar. And there's Italian churchgoer. This is now the Jewish ghetto in Venice. The term ghetto stemmed from this location here. There used to be a foundry named GETO in Venetian language, where the term ghetto began. They were confined to a small area. The Jews were in the 1500s. They were allowed to leave during the day to work, but they had to come back here at night. There's a Jewish lady watching the pigeons have their breakfast. All right.
You see this? Another guy's coming. He's hungry. Discovered food.
This is one of 3 parallel canals that were built when they drained the swamp 1,000 years ago to build the city. It's the backwater area now where hardly any tourists are. Oops, there's a tourist. Quaint old buildings. Carving of Moors here. A wall. One there in the corner. With a tin nose because it broke off. Going up the building, and what do we see? Oops. Santa Claus hanging from the railing. This building here has wooden shutters on.
Over there and get a picture of that. What have you done here?
It's a candy store here, which has Easter candy in. Wants to get himself a chocolate fish. For small one is €180, big one is €490, but $7.
€60.
And Dorothy up there wants their chocolate egg.
That's the one I want.
He wants a €60 chocolate egg. About $100 for that.
That'd be about $100, right?
Yeah.
That's the one I want.
We're now inside the Cave Oro, or House of Gold, built in the 1500s on the Grand Canal. And the Brandon now. The sun has finally come out. Maybe the rain is over. Looking up the Grand Canal. The reflection in the windows of the palace. The opposite side of the canal. We're now at a space here between the two palaces. Here's a very ornate well. Inlaid floors.
Look how fancy the floor is. Fancy floor.
Here's a gelato or ice cream shop. Tiramisu.
Maybe after a while I'll have some ice cream after I eat.
This is the Alta Bridge over the Grand Canal. Here's the Rialta Bridge from the other side now. Now it's St. Marco Square. This is a clock tower. The clock was built in the late 15th century. Besides the clock, it gives the zodiac signs. And the week of Ascension, the Magi come out to pay homage to the Virgin Mary. That was moving. Just missed him banging me on the. This is called the Golden Staircase in Doge's palace.
Okay, thank you. And now you please not to lean anywhere. And not to touch. Let me say that again.
These slots here in the mouth is where people would put accusations of crimes that people committed, put them in secret, and then the judges would examine them and call the criminals, accused criminals, to justice. Now at the top of St. Mark's Cathedral, Basilica, looking over the Doge's Palace, across the Venetian Lagoon, to the library, Campanile Tower, overlooking now St. Mark's Square. The clock tower. And now to the front of St. Mark's.
We'll take this one first.
And that looks to the front of the church. There are 4 horses here now, which are replicas of horses inside the museum, which were stolen from Byzantium. They were called Constantinople, today called Istanbul, back around 1200. Here's the clock tower again. It's the clock tower mechanism that they just missed getting to rely on top of the clock. This gives you time. 3 o'clock, 3:00. That's the clock itself. Super. The sign of the zodiac. Clock is changing 3:55. It's called the Bridge of Sighs. Connect the Doge's Palace on the left. Records and prisons from the buildings to the right. Bridge of Sighs, people say the word sigh because it's the last time they were able to see the outside before they went in. Japanese tourists here. Aha, bella luna, beautiful moon, bella luna.
Va bene, il tuo mostro 410 il tuo mostro 410 200. E sciocco, potete anche attivare la
I've got a film critic over there telling me it's not a good movie. Pellicola bella, beautiful picture. Here's again along the Grand Canal, finally with some nice light. Good afternoon. Well, we're now in Rome. This is the church of Trinita del Monte. Spanish Steps. Built in 1726. And the church with the piazza down below. More magnificent view below. Here the Spanish Steps come below. Filled with goodness. This is the heart of St. Charles Church. Prettiest one we have seen so far. That's the altar in front. Center dome. Side altar. There's a side altar there. Ceiling. Here's another side altar. It's again above the front altar.